Hey everybody, it's like 12 degrees. This morning it was 4 degrees. So needless to say, I'm not riding today or tomorrow or the next day outside. I want to do a little review on this Spatz wear gear. Here we have their booty. So Spatz wear is like a company, I think out of Europe, maybe a former pro or something. Thought I'd do this review outside since it really shows that you need to be prepared. These are basically just neoprene. This is just straight up neoprene, like you'd have in a wetsuit, right? So the problem with neoprene is it doesn't breathe at all. Inside they've got like this thermo material trying to get you some air loft inside of your foot area to keep your feet warm, and they sell these like they're the warmest shoe cover that exists, but they're not. I kind of stopped riding outside around 35 Fahrenheit, and this is not what I go to for rides like 35 to 45 and stuff like that. This would be a good shoe cover for when it's raining and a little bit cold, because neoprene is going to repel all the water. The problem with this shoe cover, like last night I wore this shoe cover, it was about 45, and your feet start to sweat and they get super wet of sweat, and then they just end up being colder than they would with different style fabric shoe cover that can breathe some. So neoprene is going to end up with a wet, soggy sock, and in cold weather you're going to freeze. This is like a kind of Kevlar cover, which is not necessary because this inside part of your foot, it's not like it rubs on your crank and rubs on your bike. That doesn't really happen. This part on the toe box has that material too, which is nice. I like that. And then they have the Velcro closure on the bottom, and then the Kevlar stuff a little bit on the heel. So that's the Spatz wear booty. Now I have the Spatz wear, this is their rain glove. Again, this is straight up neoprene. There's nothing special about it. It's just neoprene like you'd have in a wetsuit. I wore these last night, and the 45, 49 range, my hands ended up totally soaking wet with sweat on the inside. So they're designed as a rain glove, and the reason I wore these and these booties yesterday was there was a chance of some precipitation, so I thought I would wear them. But I do think that this would be a great glove in the rain, like as a race glove in a rain race and it's cold, or just maybe on the chillier side but rain, because it's neoprene and it's going to keep everything inside, which includes your sweat, but it's going to keep everything out, which includes the rain. So it's like that wetsuit effect being underwater. And so I hope that helps with the Spatz wear. Now I do have their glove, and let me go get their glove real quick. This is the Spatz wear race glove, I think it's called. And the cool thing about this glove, you've got the individual fingers, but then built inside this little pocket on the front is like this little windproof membrane that you can slide over your fingers. If I could figure out how to make it work. Oh yeah, so you put these two fingers in you separate your two fingers, right? Like a lobster. You got two in one side and two in the other. Supposed to give you a little bit more insulation or whatnot. And then you got your zipper closure here. Now, these gloves are not very warm. You would hope that with this part and just the fact that they're Spatz wear, they're just going to be this insane warm glove, and they're really not. They bottom out probably at like 50. I wouldn't wear these below 50, and I don't really have much use for them, to be honest. This is not offering me any insulation. You know, when you keep two fingers together, it's supposed to help keep your hands more warm, but this is so thin, it doesn't do anything to add any insulation. This glove does have this little finger hole here to touch with your cell phone. And what sucks about these gloves is they have these cell phone toucher things, but they don't really work. On an iPhone, they don't do a good touch screen. And I really don't like those gloves too much. These gloves, these Gore Gore-Tex Infium gloves, you got three fingers in here. This part is really good about touching the iPhone screen, and these gloves are freaking warm. These are good, you know, in the 30s and low 40s, and I typically run cold. My toes and fingers really have a hard time keeping them warm, and these have been great from Gore. And they're probably cheap too on Amazon. Another thing I like to keep warm is this Kask helmet. What's great about this helmet, you can have 0 vents from the front, and if it does warm up, you slide this back and you can get some air right here. But in the winter, really, I don't want any vents. I don't want anything getting to my head, because that's how you keep your whole body warm. And the helmet itself looks pretty bad. I mean, it looks like a freaking Jumbotron. Totally stupid the way that it looks, but who cares, man? It doesn't matter how it looks, just so long as I'm warm. And as soon as it warms back up, I don't wear this thing again until winter. So this is my winter helmet. This helmet does me absolutely no good unless it's winter. So there we have our reviews